Now you can hear me, I think. Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's start an interview with Simon Murray. Simon Murray. We are going to talk about him again. We read a text about him. We know about his life. Let's listen to him. Simon Murray, the interview. First of all, I'll check the questions with you. Listen to Simon giving an interview about his life. Circle the correct answer. Question number 1. The day always began at the day always began at
2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm very happy that B is circled here. You guys said 3 o'clock. You listened to the audio? You heard 3 o'clock. You guys are unbelievable. 2. When he was in the Foreign Legion, he spent a lot of time. Guys, he spent a lot of time. Hello, Padma. Okay, please everybody answer question number 2. When he was in the Foreign Legion, he spent a lot of time
Riding camels. Walking.
Everybody, what did you hear in the audio? He spent a lot of time. Yes, Piyush? Riding camels. You, he spent a lot of time? No, don't go back to the text. Don't be silly. I scolded some people really badly in my morning class for being stupid, for being illogical. Okay, you can't be illogical and think that you'll speak English. English is not your mother tongue. You got to be very logical, intelligent, clever to appreciate what is being said and everything. And if you can't remember, it means you're not doing enough. I have no sympathy for being careless, for people being careless or careless people. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say to somebody like you. You have no feeling of embarrassment that you're letting your teacher down by not working hard, but by not doing enough. What did you think? Was not going to ask you questions? Is this what you thought? I'm sorry. I'm disappointed in you. Very, very disappointed in you. Guys, answer the question. Number 2, he was in the Foreign Legion. He spent a lot of time
Walking.
Riding camel. He went.
riding camel, walking.
Yes.
Walking.
Okay.
No.
I would like to know what Afreen has to say. Afreen, what do you think?
Riding camels, sir.
Riding camels. I won't say what the right answer is at the moment. I will play the audio file and then we will decide what the right answer is. Let's go on to number 3 now. When he joined the Legion, he was
19 years old.
19 years.
He was 19 years old. When he joined the Legion, he was 19 years old.
Yes.
Okay, all of you agree that he was 19 years old when he joined the Legion? Do you all agree? Hey, little boy, did you listen to the audio? Why not? Why didn't you listen to the audio? Was the audio in your group? Was the audio present in your group? Why didn't you listen to it? What did you think? Master खुश होगा? शाबाशी देगा? हाँ? इधर आओ. Audio file is present in the group. You know that? Did you listen to it? Why not? Why not? Because the audio is in French language and you're learning English, so you ignored the audio. Because the audio is in French and you're learning English, so you ignored the audio because you're not learning French. Why would you listen to French? Was the audio in French or it was in English? And you are learning English, but you didn't listen to it because somebody who wants to learn English should not listen to English audio files. What about doing some utak batak? Would it be nice? Go sit there next time. That is an option. Shams, that is an option next time. Remember, okay? Either you do your work, whatever is expected of you, or you get a little bit of a punishment. Choose. Hey. All right, just chill. It's okay. Listen at home tonight, okay? You will like it. You'll enjoy it. You'll understand. I'll play it in the class as well, okay? Now, number 4. Everyone, number 4. When Simon was in the legion, there were... Come on, how many legionnaires were there when Simon was in the legion?
25,000.
25,000.
There were 25,000 legionnaires. There were... I don't
There were
know. That's it. I don't
25,000
know.
when Simon
This is
was
what
in
you guys are saying.
legion.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything. Right now, I'm not going to give you yes or no, you're right, you're wrong, because I don't know. I'll play the audio and then I will decide. Okay. Number 5. Today, the Legion has
156 nationalities.
how many nationalities?
156.
156.
Okay. Say that again. Everybody say that B again. Hina, you say that again first. B. Say the number. Hina, say the number.
156.
Okay. Other people say the number. Afreen, you say the number. B.
156.
Okay. Well done, girl. I like the way you read it. Hina, that's how we read in English. And I have taught it to your surprise. Okay. Hina, Afreen knows this because of this class. Right, Afreen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So there are a lot of things that I have taught in the class that some of you don't remember. Why? Because you were not attentive enough. You didn't care about what I was teaching. Now, number 6. Simon liked the film of his book because it was...
Because it was about Simon, about him.
Very good, Hina. And I like your, I like your spirit. Okay. I like your spirit because in the last question, I said that you were wrong in the way you read that number. 156, you should have said, okay? Or 156. Not 156. I'm not used to saying 156. I want to say 156 because I'm now used to it. I always say it this way now, 156, 156. So when it becomes your habit, you don't have to make an effort. It becomes your habit, okay? So develop good habits in English. So you guys are saying Simon liked the film of his book because it was about him? Okay, fine. Again, I don't know. I'll listen and decide. If anybody has a different answer, they can tell me. Number 6. Do you all think Simon liked the film of his book because it was about him?
Yes.
7. Simon thinks that his life has been.
Has been exciting.
Simon thinks that his life has been. You have listened to the audio? You are a big idiot then. You haven't listened to the audio, but you're choosing one option. That proves that you're an idiot. If you haven't listened to a story, how can you decide what happened in the story? Huh? You felt like saying extraordinary. You like the word, I think. That's why you said, but you shouldn't have answered the question. You said, okay. You don't know because you haven't listened to the audio. Thank you. Yesterday, I gave you a compliment, I think, or the day before yesterday. So it is the result of that compliment that you didn't listen to the audio. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, actually. Listen, Arsalan. 90% of students are like you, capable of learning. They learn as well, but they learn in a lazy way. And that's why they don't realize their full potential. If you want to realize your full potential, you have to give your best as well. There are people who speak good English, but they are unhappy with themselves because they want to do better than that. But the problem is they just want to do better than that. They are not doing their best there. That's why they're unhappy. See, you learn the present perfect as well as anybody else. Your concept about the present perfect is very clear. But my dear, when you want to speak in English, okay, to somebody, in that situation, it's not the present perfect that is going to help you alone. You need to be used to this language. And people get used to the language when they expose themselves to that language. So you had a good opportunity to give yourself some exposure to real English conversation, but you decided to skip that. You decided to skip that. You're not somebody with a lot of responsibilities. You have plenty of free time, but you just couldn't find the interest to listen to that audio. I know your situation as well as you do. Would you disagree with what I said, that you did not listen to the audio just because of one reason? And that reason was you could not find interest to listen to that audio. That's it. You had time, you remembered, but you said, oh, come on later. Is that true or not? Okay, thank you for being honest. Baki, your honesty will not give you anything. Number 8. The interview is mainly about. The interview is mainly about his time in the foreign legion. Okay. Anybody has a different answer? Okay, now I'm going to play the audio file. I want all of you to listen to the audio file. And if you want, you can change your answers. I won't mind that. If you want, you can change your answers, guys. Whatever answer you have chosen, you can go back on your answer. You can say, no, I don't think my answer was right. I want to change my answer.
Is 10.
Simon, you've had a very successful life.
Yes, I've been very lucky.
Now, I know you were in the French Foreign Legion from 1960 to 1965. How did someone born in Leicester end up joining the French Foreign Legion?
Well, there was a girl I quite liked, and she quite liked me, but not enough. And I was really upset. Then I read about the French fighting a war in Algeria, and a week later I signed for the French Foreign Legion.
Clearly you are someone who likes a challenge. What was your day-to-day life like as a legionnaire?
I think we have this romantic idea that it's all riding camels across the desert, but it was nothing like that. The training was very difficult indeed. I was the only Englishman. There were no telephones. I didn't make a phone call for over 4 years. The day always began at 2 o'clock in the morning, And often we began the day marching for about 15 miles, sometimes 25 miles. Every night you slept somewhere different. Sometimes you were 6 days walking in the mountains.
You were very young at the time, weren't you?
Yes, I was only 19 years old. But it's amazing what you can do when you have no choice.
Did you make any friends?
Not really.
So, yes, like I said, like Arsalan could not find interest, he could not motivate himself. He could not find it interesting enough to listen to the audio. That is a typical response, ask 100 people, 60, 70 will say, I get bored when I listen. It's very genuine, they get bored. It is true. Why do you get bored? There are so many reasons. One, the accent, unfamiliar accent, something that you don't listen to a lot in India. Two, the topic, what they're talking about is not of your interest, maybe. Mainly these two things. Third, there are better things to do in your life, more fun things to do, reels, shorts, games. Today, there are more distractions, no doubt. I sympathize with young people. But if you allow your distractions to dominate you, then this is what happens. You fail everywhere, not only in learning English. Everywhere you'll fail if you allow your distractions to dominate you. You have to control your distractions. Now, students, fluency is something that is everybody's dream. Those who like English, want to speak English, fluency is everybody's dream. But the fact of the matter is, people who are not fluent at age 21 are usually not fluent at any time in their life. What I'm trying to say is, most people who are not fluent at age 21, means when they're adult, and they're not fluent, they never become fluent. Majority of them. 1%, 2% people manage to change this situation from no fluency to yes fluency. The rest of them keep trying only with a lot of frustration because they fail to take interest in listening. Whether you like it or not, but fluency will come from this only, listening experience. Yes, knowledge you can gain by watching videos of other teachers as well. Like I taught you the present perfect, how quickly you understood. So you've learned to form certain types of sentences, but you will not be able to hold a conversation in English without enough exposure. When you speak, you will make so many mistakes. Sometimes you will not realize that you are making mistakes. Then you will become overconfident as well. And if you realize your mistakes, you will become frustrated that why you make so many mistakes. The solution lies in one thing: listen. Don't do anything else. Find interest somehow in listening. Okay, I'm going to play the audio file for you guys.
Unit 12, Exercise 10.
Simon, you've had a very successful life.
Yes, I've been very lucky.
Now, I know you were in the French Foreign Legion from 1960 to 1965. How did someone born in Leicester end up joining the French Foreign Legion?
Well, there was a girl I quite liked, and she quite liked me, but not enough. And I was really upset. Then I read about the French fighting a war in Algeria, and a week later I signed for the French Foreign Legion.
Clearly you are someone who likes a challenge. What was your day-to-day life like as a legionnaire?
I think we have this romantic idea that it's all riding camels across the desert, but it was nothing like that. The training was very difficult indeed. I was the only Englishman. There were no telephones. I didn't make a phone call for over 4 years. The day always began at 2 o'clock in the morning, and often we began the day marching for about 15 miles, sometimes 25 miles. Every night you slept somewhere different. Sometimes you were 6 days walking in the mountains.
You were very young at the time, weren't you?
Yes, I was only 19 years old, but it's amazing what you can do when you have no choice.
Did you make any friends?
Not really. There were so many of us. In my day, there were 25,000 legionnaires with 52 nationalities. Today, the Legion is 8,000 with 156 nationalities. They have 197,000 applications every year. They interview 5,000 and they take only 500. It's pretty difficult to join.
You wrote a book about your time in the Legion, which was made into a film called Simon, an English Legionnaire. Did the film get it right? How close was it to how you remember it?
The book got it right. I think the film was a little bit Hollywood at the end. But it's okay. I quite liked it because it's about me.
Since leaving the Legion, you've had amazing success as a businessman. You've worked for some of the world's most successful companies, such as Deutsche Bank in its Asia-Pacific division, and now you are a director of Vodafone plc, and you've walked to the South Pole. These are extraordinary achievements.
Are they extraordinary? I think my life's been different, but not extraordinary. I don't think everybody does things my way, but I've enjoyed it. It's been very exciting.
Oh, did you change any of your answers, people? Did you decide to change any of your answers? Piyush is nodding. Piyush, tell me, which question did you change your answer to? Which question? Number 2, what do you think? Okay, you changed your answer. All right. Any other answer did you change? Any other answer did you change? No? Okay. Anybody else change their answers? Hina, did you change any of your answers? No. Now it's my turn to help you understand the things they are saying in the audio. So do you want the audio script on the screen, or you have your own audio script? If you have your own audio script, if you have written your own audio script, you can check it. Okay, I'll play.
Unit 12, Exercise 10.
Simon, you've had a very successful life.
Simon, you've had a very successful life. Present perfect. You've had. Work. You will only hear work. You will not hear you have had. You will hear only you've had. And that should be enough and help for you to understand that it is a present perfect sentence. You've had. It's not you had, it's you've had. That's why you should think of this as the present perfect, because the sentence is you've had, not you had. Okay, and why not? Because you've had, starting in the past, continuing to the present. You've had a very successful life. Present simple, you have a very successful life. Past simple, you had a very successful life. Present continuous, you are having a very successful life. And present perfect, you've had a very successful life. All tenses clear so far of the verb have? Present simple, you have a successful life, very successful life. Present continuous, you are having a very successful life. And the past simple is you had a very successful life. Present perfect, you've had a very successful life. Simple structure, you have, V3 of have had, you've had, which clearly means you had a successful life, you had a successful life, and you still have a successful life if you had a successful life. In Hindi, we have two sentences. One says, आपका जीवन काफी सफल है और आपका जीवन काफी सफल रहा है. When we say raha hai, then we connect the past and the present by saying this sentence. आपका जीवन काफी सफल रहा है. You had a very successful life.
Yes, I've been very lucky.
Yes, I've been very lucky. He doesn't say I am very lucky. He says I have been very lucky. So I've been very lucky. I am very lucky. Past tense. I was very lucky. Present continuous. I am being lucky. I am being lucky. However, this sentence doesn't exist. Okay. Look, do you say मैं तुम्हें माफ कर रहा हूं या मैं तुम्हें माफ करता हूं? Which sentence do you normally say? मैं तुम्हें माफ करता हूं. जाओ मैं तुम्हें माफ करता हूं. So माफ कर रहा हूं is something that is very rare. Okay. So people don't say, are you forgiving me? They say, do you forgive me? क्या आप मुझे माफ करते हैं? क्या आप मुझे माफ कर रहे हैं? नहीं पूछते. Maybe हम लोग बोल दें हिंदी में चलेगा. But it is not a common sentence. What do we say? Do you forgive me? Okay, I forgive you. Okay, I forgive you. So there are some verbs which are used in a certain way. तो जबरदस्ती सारे टेंस फोर्स नहीं करने चाहिए हर एक वर्ब पे. सारे वर्ब्स एक जैसे नहीं होते, इसलिए सारे फॉर्म्स सारे टेंसेस नहीं बनते उनसे. ओके, वो सिर्फ थ्योरेटिकल आइडिया है. Practically, when we talk in English, then all tenses are not going to be practically possible for all the verbs. Certain verbs are used in certain tenses. Okay, well, I was talking about I'm lucky, I was lucky, and the present perfect. I've been lucky. I was lucky in the past, and now I'm lucky too. Action starts. Okay, so I've been lucky. I am lucky, मैं lucky हूँ, मैं भाग्यशाली हूँ. I have been lucky, मैं रहा हूँ भाग्यशाली. So when somebody says to you, wow, you are handsome, I've always been handsome, you respond arrogantly. Okay, you see, somebody says to you, you are very handsome, and instead of saying thank you politely, you know, what do you say? I've always been very handsome, nothing new. I have always been very handsome, no issues, no problems. I know that. Okay, so I've been lucky, he says. Yes, I've been lucky. Politely he accepts. When they say that you have been very successful, then he says my success is not only because of my hard work. This is polite behavior, modest behavior, that he gives credit to his luck. Once Akshay Kumar was asked in an interview that how does it feel? People like you so much, you're so successful. He says, I feel very humbled. I think I've been very lucky. People ask, the interviewer says, why do you think you're lucky? He says, I worked hard, but there are lots of people who are working harder than me. There are lots of people who are more good looking than me. There are lots of people who are taller than me, more talented than me, but they are not as successful as me. He says very honestly that there are people who are talented, more talented than me, taller than me, more handsome than me, okay, and more hardworking than me. And still, I am more successful. Why? Because something else happened. That was luck. Luck favored me. Luck did not favor those people. So successful people, modest successful people, give credit to luck as well, especially when they realize that they have, see what happens. Maybe you guys haven't come across those, but Akshay Kumar, an actor, must have seen people who are more talented than him, who are struggling, and he is a successful actor. Okay, so that's why he gives credit to a little bit of luck, which is polite behavior, I think, modest behavior. Successful people, when they give credit to luck, they are polite, they are humble. And those people who are not successful and they blame their luck, they are making an excuse. Not successful people should not put it on their luck, I think. They should always take the responsibility. Okay. Anyways, he says, I've been lucky.
Now, I know you were in the French Foreign Legion from
now I know you were in the French Foreign Legion. I know you were in the French Foreign Legion. You were. Now you're not there. You were there. Yeah.
1960 to 1965.
From 1960 to 1965, you were there. if we remove the time, if we talk about Simon, what has Simon done in his life? What has Simon done in his life? We can say Simon has been in the French Foreign Legion. One of the experiences Simon has been. But here the sentence is, you were in the Foreign Legion, because the next part is from 1960 to 1965. She's not talking about his experience. She's talking about what happened in the past. आप 1960 से 65 के बीच Foreign Legion में थे ना? You were in the French Foreign Legion from 1960 to 1965.
How did someone born in Leicester end up joining the French Foreign Legion?
Well,
how did someone born in Leicester, he was born in Leicester. Okay. How did someone born in Leicester end up becoming or joining the French Foreign Legion? Leicester is in England. All right. And if you have listened to the audio, you know that there were no Englishmen there other than him. He was the only Englishman. It means joining the French Foreign Legion was not a very, popular thing for English people. No, not only English. Easy. It was not a popular thing to do in those days. Because he was the only Englishman. From the whole of England, nobody else joined except him. It means joining the French Foreign Legion was not on that list for English boys and girls, right? They did not want to join the French Foreign Legion. There was nobody else. It was not a very popular thing to do. So that's why she's surprised. How did someone born in Leicester end up joining the French Foreign Legion? How did you get there? Surprise, surprise. Okay. Like, if I say something that is a little surprising, like a dull student, someone who doesn't do anything, is not very clever either, okay? And he gets the first rank. He gets the, how did you get the first rank? How did you end up getting the first rank? How did you end up getting the first rank? He says, I don't know. He says, I don't know. I just wrote my answers and here I am. They say I am the first, my rank is the first. Okay. So, or a very hardworking student, very intelligent student failed the exam. Surprise, surprise, right? You ask, how did you end up failing the exam? How did you end up failing the exam? He said, fail kaise ho gaye tum? How did you end up? He says, I don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe I answered the questions wrong. I don't know. Are you going to challenge the result? Yes, I am going to. Okay. End up doing something. Okay. So there was this girl in the class. I hated her. I always cursed her. I always wanted to fight with her. I didn't want to look at her. And then people were invited to our wedding. Everybody knew that I hated her, right? And one day they receive an invitation where I say, I'm getting married to her. Then they say, you hated that girl. How did you end up marrying her? I'll say, her father offered me 10 crore rupees in return. I couldn't say no. Her father offered me 10 crore rupees dowry. I couldn't say no to that. Then they say, oh, okay, got it. Okay. Yeah. Gifted. Yeah. He just, that's why. So end up doing something. Okay, there is this girl. She tells everybody, don't fall in love. Love makes life bad. Love spoils life. You should never think about love. She gives lecture to everybody. And one day, you find out that she ran away with a guy. Then you'll say, how did she end up making such a silly decision? How did she end up making such a silly decision? Because you were not expecting her, because she always said to other people, oh, love is just nonsense and this and that. How did she end up doing something like this then? So end up is used this way, okay? To show surprise. Something happened as a surprise, okay? How did you, born in Leicester, how did somebody born in Leicester end up joining the French Foreign Legion? How did that happen? And he explains how a Leicester guy ended up joining the French Foreign Legion. He's explaining now.
There was a girl I quite liked.
There was a girl I quite liked. थी एक लड़की को अच्छी लगती थी, ठीक ठाक. Okay. There was a girl I quite liked.
And she quite liked me, but...
And she quite liked me. And she quite liked me. और वो भी मुझे पसंद करती थी, ठीक ठाक. But...
not enough.
Not enough. Okay, I liked her, she liked me, but not enough. Okay, and then what happened? Breakup. He had a broken heart. He suffered a broken heart. Okay, yeah. So what did he decide to do?
And I was really upset.
He was very upset. He stopped going to school. He was so upset that he dropped out of school. And 1 week later,
Then I read about the French fighting a war in Algeria, and a week...
then he read about, okay, not this, then someday he read about, he stopped going to school. He was angry, he was upset, okay. Then he read about the French fighting a war in Algeria. He read about the French fighting.
A girl I quite liked, and she quite liked me, but not enough. And I was really upset. Then I read...
I was really upset. So upset that I dropped out of school. This line should have been there. The host, or sorry, the interviewer should have said, so upset that you dropped out of school. So upset that you dropped out of school. You stopped going to school.
about the French fighting a war in Algeria, and a week...
Then I read about the French fighting war in Algeria.
week later, I signed for the French Foreign Legion.
And a week later, I signed for the French Foreign Legion. He didn't think much about it. A week later, he read about it. A week later, he said, I'm going there. I'm going to fight the war. Laksh movie, Hrithik Roshan. Preeti Zinta says, no, I don't want to marry you. He says, okay, fine. I don't care. Screw you. And he goes to join the National Cadet Corps. Sorry. What is that? CDS or NDA, National Defense Academy. Yeah, one of the two. He joins that. Have you seen the movie Laksh? No, you haven't seen the movie Laksh. What a lovely film it was. Hrithik Roshan and Preeti Zinta. And one song that you will never be bored of. Agar main kahun mujhe tumse mohabbat hai, to tum kya kahogi? All right, he is not saying it directly. He is using conditional sentence. Agar main kahun to tum kya kahogi? All right, that is, I use that song when I teach conditional. Yeah, I use that song when I teach conditional sentences. He is not directly proposing to her. He is saying, Agar main kahun to tum kya kahogi? All right. And then she says, Main tumse kahungi. All right. Okay, fine. Let's carry on.
Clearly, you are someone who likes a challenge.
Clearly, you are someone who likes the challenge. You like the challenge. Some people run away from challenges. They don't take the challenge. Don't you think learning English was like a challenge to you guys as well? It was not. You don't think so, but you took the challenge very well. How did you approach it? If you have to tell me, how did you approach it? You joined the class. I know initially you were not very sincere about your studies, but somehow things changed for you. You enjoyed being here and learning, right? You got interested in it. Okay. See, different people find different answers, you see.
What was your day-to-day life like as a legionnaire?
What was your day-to-day life like as a legionnaire? What was your day-to-day life like? What was the weather like? What was your town like? What was your village like? And what was your day-to-day life like? Day-to-day life, everyday life, day-to-day life, everyday life. What was your day-to-day life like? Means tell me about your day-to-day life. Where? In the Legion. When you were part of the Legion, okay? What was your day-to-day life like?
I think we have this romantic idea that it's all riding camels across the desert.
I think it's all about that. Okay. Listen to this part again.
Someone who likes a challenge. What was your day-to-day life like as a Legionnaire?
I think we have this romantic idea that
I think we have this romantic idea. We have this romantic idea. What romantic idea? He has not said yet. He said, I think we all have this romantic idea that
it's all riding camels across.
it's all riding camels across the desert. Okay, so he says, I think we all have this romantic idea that being in the French Foreign Legion is about riding camels. Okay, so if you tell somebody that you are a model, okay, you are a model, fashion model, okay, and you wear, fashion modeling you do. So most people will think, oh, so you wear beautiful clothes and walk on the ramp, right? Because most people think fashion models just do this much. They wear nice clothes, fancy clothes, and they walk on the ramp. They do not know anything more than this. Most people know this much. Oh, model, so you walk on the ramp? Wow, okay. So there is a romantic idea that modeling job is very easy. All you have to do is walk the ramp. That's it, in beautiful clothes. But talk to a real model, okay? Ask how difficult their life is, how challenging their job is. It's not easy. There is insecurity, first of all. When somebody with a better face, better looks will come up, and you will be out of work automatically. There is always insecurity. When you are doing some other job, like, as a cricketer, as a teacher, as a politician, then you feel secure about your job in a way because you have earned something in your job. Nobody can simply rule you out. But in glamour field, there is no such security. One small accident, one small cut on your face, right? 5 pimples on your face, and suddenly people don't like you. Or nothing happens to you, another beautiful face comes up, and then everybody is going crazy about that person, and you are suddenly second best. You lose your position. It happens. Divya Bharti, before Divya Bharti, I think it was Madhuri Dixit, who was just ruling this Mumbai film industry, and then Divya Bharti comes up. And suddenly, everybody is crazy about Divya Bharti. You don't know who Divya Bharti was? Are yaar, sorry yaar, I'm very old, I'm sorry. You guys don't know Divya Bharti. Okay, one of the most beautiful actresses, but unfortunately she died very young. Her death was a controversy. She jumped off a big building, very, very high building, and killed herself. Now, people say that it was not a suicide. Her husband was involved in her death. Sajid Nadiawala. Okay, her husband. Yeah. And nobody knows the truth yet. Okay. But she was very young and she was everybody's crush. She was like, that a South Indian girl who is very, very popular these days. Rashmika. Okay. So similarly, like Rashmika, how quickly she became so popular. I mean, she was in the South film industry. Nobody knew that much about her. And 1 or 2 films, and suddenly everybody knows her. Divana. In the Shah Rukh Khan, she did a movie with Shah Rukh Khan, with Rishi Kapoor. She did a few films in a very short time, but she was very, very beautiful, So these kind of job, glamour job, is very, I will say, fancy, and people have great, romantic opinions of them, romantic ideas of them, but that's not true. A romantic idea, okay, is something that is far from the truth. People have this romantic idea about spoken English classes, that they will enter the class, the teacher will give them topics, they'll speak, and they will become fluent in 2 months. Stupid people have this romantic idea about being fluent, that they will enter a class, they will get a topic to speak on. For 2-3 months, they will speak on different topics, and they will become fluent in English. That's a romantic, foolish idea, I will say, okay? So he says that, people have this romantic idea that it's all about riding camels. It means people, those who know about the French Foreign Legion, they think, oh, French Foreign Legion, you have to just ride camels there. You have to ride camels there, that's it. But that's not true.
The desert, but it was nothing like that.
It was nothing like that. It was nothing like that.
Camels across the desert, but it was nothing like that. Riding camels.
Legionnaire.
I think we have this romantic idea that it's all riding camels across the desert. But
across the desert. Across the desert. Now, across the desert. Understand the phrase, across the desert. From one part to another part, across the desert. It's all about riding camels across the desert. But it's nothing like that.
But it was nothing like that. The training was very difficult indeed.
The training was very difficult indeed. You have heard the phrase indeed, in Unit 2 itself. Oh, he's very good indeed. The training was very difficult indeed. An intensifier. The training was very difficult.
I was the only Englishman.
I was the only Englishman. He says there was no other Englishman there. It means English people were not very keen or very interested in joining the French Foreign Legion. They didn't want to join the French Foreign Legion.
There were no telephones.
No telephones. Those who joined the French Foreign Legion, for them, no telephones. We are talking about 1916.
I didn't make a phone call for over 4 years.
He didn't make a phone call for over 4 years.
The day always began at 2 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock. The day always began at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And often we began the day marching for about...
And often we began the day marching. Often we began the day marching. We began the day marching. Often we began the day marching. When you march, you do what? You walk. When you march, you walk. Walk and march are synonyms, right? When people are marching, what are they doing? They're walking. Now, just a little bit of extra input here. When you march, you have a destination. You march to some place. Okay. Usually use the word march for soldiers, army, because they move with a destination in mind. So march. We often began the day marching.
15 miles. Sometimes
50 miles, sometimes 20 miles.
25 miles.
25 miles. You wake up and you start marching. You start walking. 15 miles, 22 kilometers, 23 kilometers, 25 miles, 40 kilometers. So what did they do? Most of the time, they spend their time walking.
Every night you slept somewhere different.
Every night you slept somewhere different. When you walk so much, how can you sleep at the same place? You never sleep at the same place. Every night you sleep somewhere different. Har raat koi nayi jagah. Every night you sleep somewhere different. Now, this can be a big challenge in itself, sleeping at a new place every night. Because a lot of us develop some sort of relation with the place where we sleep. Comfort, And if people ask you to sleep somewhere else, it's a bit difficult. You like sleeping at a certain place. Please turn on the light. Do you guys have that weakness? You like sleeping at certain place in your house, or you're easy. You can sleep anywhere you want. It doesn't matter. What? Do you have a weakness for a particular spot in your house, or particular spot in your bed? Some people are so particular about this spot in bed that if they sleep on the left, they don't want to sleep on the right. They will say they will not be sleepy. My daughter sometimes does that, but then I'm somebody who doesn't allow people to be like this. I say, nah, this is not good. It's a weakness. So I push her to sleep some other places sometimes, because I think it is a weakness, Yes, when you become old, then these things matter more. I mean, my mother, she feels more comfortable sleeping in the outside room, which we call our living room. She doesn't feel very sleepy elsewhere. I still sleep wherever I want to. Sometimes here, sometimes on the roof, sometimes in my bedroom. I can sleep anywhere. Huh?
The boy.
The
Boy.
the boys.
Nowadays trending, unique type of things that boys can like when and wherever he sleep or wherever he go, they use the boys that term.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. I don't spend that much time, online with these things. What are you talking about? You guys are talking about a particular video or something?
Yes.
I haven't seen it. Do you think I have seen it? I haven't seen it.
Memes, nowadays.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I sound lost, right? Confused.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
If a woman of them doing then you guys standing and taking their cup and laughing with women.
Women. So now women are doing the same. When boys do something silly, two girls, shake hands, and say, boys, the boys. Okay. All right. I like this kind of banter. That's good. Yeah. Women are silly. If they were not silly, why would they marry us? Yeah, they don't need us. Why do they fall for us? Because they're silly. Yeah. Okay, anyways.
Sometimes you were 6 days walking in the mountains.
Sometimes you were 6 days walking in the mountain. My God, walk for 6 days in the mountains. So the training was hard, very hard, difficult.
You were very young at the time, weren't you?
You were very young at the time, weren't you? You have studied question tag as well. You were very young at the time, weren't you? You were very young at the time, weren't you?
Yes, I was only 19 years old.
Oh, yes, I was only 19 years old. Normally, a 19-year-old boy, how does he spend his time? A typical 19-year-old boy? Chasing after girls, talking to his friends, drinking beer, right? Sometimes studying. Indian boys, they're a little concerned about their career as well, exams and all, so they study a little bit. Okay. All right. I mean, most 19-year-old boys don't really take so much of stress. Their life is not as hard as this guy is saying. Walking 40 kilometers every day, 25 kilometers every day, getting up at 2 o'clock at night. Most 19-year-old boys get up at 7 or 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, right? They sleep at 2 o'clock. And this guy was waking up at 2 o'clock and he was walking 15 miles, 25 miles. So why is she asking this? That it was particularly hard for you because you were young. He says, yes, I was very young, but
it's amazing what you can do when you have no choice.
It's amazing what you can do when you have no choice. It's amazing what you can do when you have no choice. You see, I want to use this in my class as well. No choice for students. But then I think what I'm doing is a choice thing, like doing 12th is not a choice thing. You have to do 12th. Studying for 10th is not a choice thing. You have to study. It's not an optional thing, right? But doing a spoken English class is an optional thing. I often tell my wife that, look, Roop, I'm very unlucky in one way because, you see, students never assign any importance to this course. They say it is important, but they really do not value it very much. Why? Because their parents will tell them if there is anything important, they say, you can do spoken English later because there is no exam for this. Exams matter so much. If I was teaching for 10th, you guys would be so worried about your exam. You would be so concerned. Oh, what I'm teaching, make notes. Okay, take seriously. Because next year you have to take the exam. But here with the spoken English, it doesn't matter if I didn't learn, it's okay. Next year I will learn again. I will try again another time. At worst, what will happen? I'll have to pay 5,000 again, no problem. Or I'll find a better teacher than him. I'll learn, things like this, you see. So a lot of people really do not take it very seriously. That's true. And I can't help it. I cannot do it. This is beyond my control here. How people think about English is not something I can control. I can't force them to think along my lines, okay? They have their own understanding. And that's the reason why Arsalan did not listen to the audio file. He is here every day. He is not irregular. It means he likes being here, but he just likes being here. He doesn't like English alone. He doesn't like English when he is alone. He likes English when he is with me. Yeah. Why? Later, and that later never came, right? I know. That's exactly what happens. But you guys can listen to it tonight after I've explained. And again, try to repeat the lines they're saying in the audio.
Did you make any friends?
Did you make any friends? Dosti wasti hui kisi se? Did you make any friends?
Not really. There were so many of us.
There were so many of us. And when they say this line, you know, oh, there were so many of us. I always ask, why does he say this line? When the question was, did you make any friends? He said, no, not really. There were so many of us. What's the connection? When I ask about the connection, majority of my students don't answer the question. What's the connection of there were so many of us and not making friends? तो ज्यादा दोस्त लोग रहेंगे तो ज्यादा लोग दोस्ती होगी, कम लोग दोस्ती होगा? ज्यादा लोग रहेंगे तो दोस्ती ज्यादा लोगों से होगी कि कम? हाँ, तो ज्यादा लोग थे तो क्या? बताओ ना, क्या बोलना चाह रहे हो? हम सुन लिए ज्यादा लोग थे, एक बार में सुन लिए, उसके बाद मैंने सवाल पूछा है कि ज्यादा लोग रहेंगे तो ज्यादा लोग से दोस्ती होगी ना? तो ये कैसे इसका आंसर हो गया? सब लोग दोस्ती थे, पैदाइशी दोस्त थे क्या वो लोग? दोस्त पैदा हुए थे वो लोग? क्या ऊट पटांग बात बोल के अपने आप को, दिस इज कॉल्ड टाइंग योरसेल्फ इन नॉट्स. इन इंग्लिश देयर इज एन एक्सप्रेशन, टाइंग योरसेल्फ इन नॉट्स, मतलब उलझा लेना अपने आप को. ओके, so I asked him a basic question. The question was, did you make any friends? He said, not really. There were so many of us. So the question, natural question comes to your mind. There were so many of us. This problem kya ho gaya? If there were many people, then you make many friends. Actually, this is where there is a phrase, counterintuitive. Counterintuitive. It means जो आपको लगे सही दिमाग से वो उल्टा हो, उसको वो सही ना हो. So you guys think that there are lots of people, then you will make lots of friends. That's counterintuitive. People make good friends when they are in a small number, and when they are in a big number, they don't make a lot of friends. There, in a big number, you make a small pocket, small circle for yourself with 5-6 people. You can make friends with that way. But being in a big number doesn't help making friends. If you go to a class with 1,000 students, it's very difficult to make friends there. But if you, for example, you go to a class for 1 month with 1,000 students, okay, you will not make many friends. But if you go to a class with just 20 students, 15 students for 1 month, it's likely that you'll make friends. And he was there for 5 years and he could not make any friends. Acquaintance, yes, of course, without talking he couldn't be, but he did not make any friends. There is a difference. So Lucky and Arsalan, are you guys friends or acquaintances?
Yes, sir.
You guys are friends. You two are friends. And Adnan, you guys are friends. I think small town people make friends very easily. Are you guys gonna be there for each other if the other one needs, or you will switch off your phone? You guys will be there for each other. Okay, I hope so. So yeah, friends means you are there for each other, right? Acquaintances, you guys know, just it works in your favor, then fine. Otherwise, anyways. So he says, I didn't make many friends. Why? I didn't make any friends because there were so many of us. Counterintuitive. Okay, सिर फट जाए तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं? कोशिश करते हैं खून ना निकले, दबा के रखते हैं ना कि खून, यही कोशिश करते हैं ना. समझदारी है ना इसमें? Absolute stupidity. एकदम जाहिलियत है. We should never try to stop the blood. When your you have a head injury and there is a cut and blood is coming out, you should never stop that blood. Let the blood come out. keep a cloth there, some sort of cloth, but keep it there softly, just so that the cloth absorbs all the blood. And when you take that person to the doctor, take the cloth as well with you, so that the doctor can see how much blood has come out, and he can decide whether this person needs any blood or not, okay, to be injected. Another thing, to avoid clotting, if you press and do not allow the blood to come out, then the blood will go inside this, head, scalp, and that can be very dangerous sometimes. You can do it on other parts of the body, but don't do it when it is on your head. Counterintuitive, because natural दिमाग में क्या आता है, रोकना चाहिए खून, right? That is common sense लगता है, but it is absolutely opposite. तो ऐसे सिचुएशन में क्या बोलते हैं, इस सिचुएशन बोलेंगे, ये जो डिसीजन है ना, काउंटर इंट्यूटिव है. We should not press it hard at all. Let the blood come out if it is coming out, okay? As much as it is coming out, just keep a cloth there. And when the doctor sees the cloth, he sees how much blood has come out, and accordingly he will decide whether blood needs to be injected or not. Okay. All right, carrying on. Fine, enough. So he said, no, I didn't make any friends because there were so many of us. ये line भी अच्छा है. हम लोग ढेर सारे लोग थे. कैसे बोला उसने? There were, हम लोग 5 लोग थे. बोलिए लकी. देखें आपका ऑब्जर्वेशन कितना चलता है. हम लोग 5 लोग थे.
There were 5 of us.
Very good. You did it. There were 5 of us. हम लोग 5 लोग थे. तो अगर आप ऑडियो सुनोगे तो ऐसे लाइन बोलने लग जाओगे. और इस बोलना सीखना कहते हैं किसको? ऐसी को तो कहते हैं सीख गए ना एक लाइन बोलना, जो कभी नहीं बोलते थे पहले. क्या हम लोग 5 लोग थे? हम लोग 5 लोग हैं. अब क्या चुप हो गए? भटाक से बोलो यार. There are 5 of us. There are 5 of us. कितने लोग आ रहे हो? हम लोग 5 लोग हैं. There are 5 of us. There are.
In my day, there were 25,000 legionnaires.
In my day, there were 25,000 legionnaires. Simple answer. When Simon was in the legion, there were 25,000 legionnaires.
With 52 nationalities.
With 52 nationalities. It means these 25,000 people came from 25 different, sorry, how many nationalities? 50?
5,000 nationalities.
No.
Today, not really. There were so many of us. In my day, there were 25,000 legionnaires with 52 nationalities.
52 nationalities. So these 25,000 soldiers, legionnaires, soldiers, they were from 52 different countries. Actually from 51 countries. They were from 24,999 people were from 51 countries. And 1 person was from England. Right? He said, in my days, there were 25,000 legionnaires from 52 nationalities. Right? It means he was the only Englishman. Remove him. So now 51 countries, 51 nationalities, and 24,999 people.
Today, the Legion is 8,000 with a...
Today, the Legion is 8,000. Today, the Legion is 8,000. Yeah. Today, the Legion is 8,000.
156 nationalities.
And with 156 nationalities. So the number of legionnaires has gone down now. They don't hire as many legionnaires. In those days, they had 25,000 legionnaires. Now they have only 8,000 legionnaires. They have only 8,000 legionnaires now. But these 8,000 come from many different countries, not from 52 nationalities. Now they are with 156 nationalities. So the people now come from many different countries. Those days it was not very popular. Nowadays people from every country want to join the French Foreign Legion. If you got a chance, would you join the French Foreign Legion? Anybody? Would you like to have a job there in the French Foreign Legion as a soldier? Nah. If we got a chance, we would serve in the Indian Army. Why would we go and serve the French Foreign Legion? We don't care.
They have 197,000 applications every year.
They have 197,000 applications every year. If you guys really want to join the French Foreign Legion, you have to apply. They receive 197,000 applications every year.
Yeah. They interview 5,000 and
They interview only 5,000. It means what you write in the interview matters, because they select only 5,000 people for the interview. These applications are not like Indian vacancy forms that you get. You get boxes, you write A-M-I-T, Amit, okay, and like this. These application forms, you have to write essays. They ask you long questions where you have to give answers what you think. For example, they'll ask you, why do you want to join the French Foreign Legion? Write 200 words. So why do you want to join the French Foreign Legion? You need to write. And then they will read. And on that basis, they'll say, throw this person in the dustbin, okay? Oh, this answer looks interesting. Call this person for an interview. Okay, not only for the French Foreign Legion, in many Western universities and all, like American universities and all, students cannot get admission without writing this why thing, There are so many questions where you need to give detailed answers in 1 page, 2 pages. On that basis, they decide. In India, tell me, does it happen at all? No, nowhere. They will only ask you objective questions. No wonder Indians are not so, they don't think as much. Because आपके सोचने को कहीं encourage ही नहीं किया जाता. NDA भी join करते हो तो क्या question का answer करके आते हो? Objective. पता है क्यों? क्यों? Because India has a huge population. We have very few jobs to offer. We have so many people applying. If we ask people to write subjective long answer questions, then what will happen? So many people will write. Who will check them? We don't have the manpower with the government agencies to check so many answers. We need the computer. And that's why we have these OMR sheets. Put OMR sheets, in 1 second, you get your answer. Oh, this person failed, this person passes. And then you finally do the interview. So big population is a disadvantage when it comes to such a thing. You guys always feel, oh, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. A lot of young people in India have a bad inferiority complex because they don't get jobs, but they don't realize it. They don't get jobs not because they are not good enough. There are not enough jobs. If 5 lakh people prepare for this UPSC, a couple of thousand people get selected and the rest of them are left with no future. All right, they have to go to some other fields. They cannot become what they always wanted to. So in India, such huge population and not enough jobs, that's a big disadvantage, big problem. I'm very glad that at least I am doing something that I enjoy. I was in college today. I was feeling a little bad, actually. I was feeling bad that I didn't take my life very seriously when I was young. I didn't really, give myself the chance to do anything big in life. I always underestimated myself, my abilities, never had any ambitions, and I felt really bad about it when I was in the college today. Okay, can we turn off the two-way switch? Nanda College, I went there to get my mark sheets, yeah. We can keep one fan on or maybe both the fans on, not a big deal. Yeah. You guys have no idea of what kind of person I was when I was young, and that's why. But one thing that was always going for me was my thinking mind, okay? I underestimated myself, no doubt. I thought I was not good enough to do anything. Now I realize that I did the most difficult thing that people find very difficult for somebody from my background. The ability to use English the way I do is something that scares a lot of people, whether professors or university principals, college principals, whoever I meet and I talk to in English, they all feel an awe for my English, like, wow. And they never believe that I'm not a professor or something when I talk to them, And when they find out that I did my graduation and post-graduation so late, they feel like shocked. Then how? I said, listen, it was never my priority, these certificates. I always wanted to decode the mystery of English. I wanted to just solve this mystery that why people misunderstand English written somewhere or said. I always wanted to do that. I did it. I did it very successfully. Today, English is not a mystery to me. Okay, and I'm trying to solve this mystery for you guys sitting here with you. I'm doing a job that gives me an immense satisfaction. Okay, however, when students do not understand these things, because there's some students are simply stupid, they're not smart enough to appreciate, they're just lost in their own mind, they just can't see the reality. And when I have to teach those students, I feel frustrated, no doubt about it, because I think I deserve better. I deserve students who are really passionate about learning and want to do well, so that I can make a difference to their learning, to their English. If you are not very passionate, whether you are learning with A or learning with B, how does it matter? You're not sincere, right? But sincere people, those who want to have something, like you were here yesterday. So Adnan, were you here? Remember that guy, Nikhil saying that, sir, you should charge 10,000 instead of 5,000. Okay. So when I get students like those who are really passionate and they find the solutions to all their doubts and confusions, I really, like this job. But then I felt bad because society values a professor more than a person who teaches English in a private institute. You see? You understand what I mean? So sometimes it does bother me, like I won't say never bother. It's not like I always get that feeling. I'm talking about it today because I went to the college today and I felt that, I could have done a lot better. Because when I talk to people, they are older than me sometimes, but when it comes to the abilities and all, then of course I can trump them like anything, but still I don't have this, title that I'm a professor at this college or that college. Why? Never tried. If I had tried a couple of times when I was young and I had failed, then I would have said, okay, I was not good enough. I never try. I just don't understand. I can't forgive myself for this. So guys, I'm saying this to you as a victim, as a guilty person. Don't underestimate yourself, one. And two, work hard for what you want. Otherwise, time passes, okay? Time will pass by, you won't know. You will have left no time. Like today, my wife is so pushy. She is, you have to do that, you have to do this. She wants me to go for some big things. And I say, Roop, I'm old now. I've lost my, motivation. I am happy doing what I do. She still wants to push me, do this, do that. If I have the certificates of graduation and post-graduation, I will say it is all because of her. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to take admission. I said, I'm fine. She said, hey, listen, I know you're fine, but people care for the certificates. If you go and teach at university, they will not ask you to teach unless, they will not allow you to teach unless you have the certificates. So you must get the certificate. She bothered me so much that I said, okay. And now she's doing the same thing again. But this time I am not very sure because I'm not interested in what she wants me to do, literature and stuff. I'm simply not interested. I don't really, I like listening to stories, but that's it. And if I were younger, if I was 32 today, then I would say, okay, fine, maybe I can. But now 43, I don't really care about these things. I'm fine. Yeah, I did have a guilty conscience for not trying enough when I was young. Yeah.
If you are a professor, how can you explore the whole thing, sir, when now you have experience?
No. That's wrong to say. That's wrong to say. A curious person will. Curiosity knows no end, okay? Like if you have curiosity, there is no boundaries for you. Just because you will have a job, your curiosity will. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I think it's about nature. It's about nature. It's about your nature and it's about your priorities, what you want, okay? Even if I had got a job, I would have been equally passionate about, I will say, exploring English. Saying something else.
Yes, sir. The whole experience.
Come on.
No, sir. If you teach in college.
Why? All professors only teach at college. Don't they give tuition classes and all? Then?
the tuition class, if you have the experience of the amazing student.
I agree. I would have had both. I would have had both.
Yes, sir.
I would have had both. I would have done, but again, there's no point in talking about it. I don't want to sound embarrassed. I will embarrass myself talking more about it. So let's leave it. I just shared this with because I went to college today, and I was like, I felt a little, actually so frustrated that when I was getting out of the college, I shouted the profanity 5-6 times loudly. I don't know how many people heard me. I couldn't hold it inside. I was thinking about what my wife has been saying to me, and I realized what I haven't done. I had the time. I had it easy. Okay, 5-6 years ago, if I had tried, I would have made it very easily. Okay, I had the time, I had the energy, but I just didn't have the ambition. I didn't care about these things enough. I am a stupid person when it comes to careers and decisions, life and all. I only know how to go with the flow. I only have a good mind that can do logic, which you guys hate about me, because when I do logic, I come to the conclusion there is no God, you see, and you guys don't like me saying that. But that's the only thing I can do, logic. But I'm a very silly person when it comes to making decisions about life. Okay, anyways, let's continue.
They take only 500.
They take only 500. 5,000 people are interviewed and 500 people are selected.
It's pretty difficult to join.
You wrote
It's pretty difficult to join. It's pretty difficult to join. It's not easy to join the French Foreign Legion.
a book about your time in the Legion, which was
You wrote a book about your time in the Legion. आपने किताब भी लिखी थी ना? अच्छा, ये तो ऐसे बोली, you wrote a book. बोले ना, you wrote a book about your time in the Legion. आपने किताब भी लिखी थी ना? अब हम लोग इसके बारे में बात करें, उसने क्या क्या किया है जीवन में? What has he done? बोल सकता है he has written a book. क्या क्या किया है उसने? He has written a book. He has worked in the French Foreign Legion. He has he has written a book. लेकिन यहाँ he has written a book नहीं बोला जाएगा. You have written a book नहीं बोल रहे, सीधे बोल रहे you wrote a book about your time in the French Foreign Legion.
was made into a film called
Was made into a film, which was made in, जिसपे फिल्म भी बनी थी, जिसपे एक फिल्म भी बनी थी, which was made into a film. क्या होता है ना, जब आप इंग्लिश बोलते हो तो आप हिंदी को तलाक दे देते हो अपने दिमाग में. That is very bad. आपको ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि आप हिंदी कैसे बोलते हो ताकि समझ बने आपकी. उसने कहा you wrote a book about your time in the French Foreign Legion, which was made into a film.
Simon, an English legionnaire. Did the film get it right?
Did the film get it right? Film सब कुछ सही दिखाया था. Did the film get it right? When your book is made into a film, then the question is, did the director do justice to the story? Right? There is a movie on Netflix, Jaane Jaan. Have you seen? Okay, the Kareena Kapoor, and there are some other actors who are very fine actors, but they don't have such big names actually. The villain of the movie Gabbar, Akshay Kumar was in a film called Gabbar, and there was the villain. What was his name? That guy. He was tall and big. He has got a role in this film. A lovely film. Again, it is based on a novel. The movie Jaane Jaan is based on a novel. It will keep you very much, to the edge of your seats. You would like to know what happened. What happened? Lovely movie. Okay. So whenever a book is made into a film, the big question is the director doing justice to the story? And usually people ask the story writer, Chetan Bhagat's movie, novels were changed into films again. So Chetan Bhagat was asked, did they make the right kind of film the way you wanted? If the writer says, yeah, good, it was, nice, it's good. So they're asking, did the film get it right? Did they show the exact story?
How close was it to how you remember it?
How close was it to how you remember it? How close was the film to how you remember it? You remember the story? You remember what happened with you? You wrote a book. And when you saw the film, did you see the same things? Was it close? How close was it? कितना नजदीक था? मतलब जैसा हुआ था वैसा ही था? Or did they show completely different thing? How close was it to how you remember it?
The book got it right.
The book got it right because he was the writer of the book. The book got it right.
I think the film was a little bit Hollywood at the end.
I think the film was a little bit Hollywood at the end. The film was a little bit Hollywood at the end.
But it's okay. I quite liked it because it's about
But it's okay. I quite liked it. ठीक लगा मुझे. Because it was about
me.
me.
Since leaving the Legion,
About him. He liked the film because it was about him. Okay.
you've had amazing success as a business.
Sentence. Since leaving the Legion, you've had amazing success. Since leaving the Legion. Since joining this class, I have improved my English a lot, like this. Since joining this class. So you refer to a moment in the past. And from that moment up to now, okay? I haven't seen father's love since I was born, okay? Did you understand? I haven't seen father's love. I haven't experienced father's love. I haven't known what father's love is since I was born. Okay. पैदा होने के समय से अब तक मुझे कभी पिता का प्यार पता नहीं चला, right? Like that kind of sentence. Okay. So अजीब चीजें हुई हैं इस घर में जब से तुम आए हो. Strange things are happening. अभी भी हो रही हैं. Strange things have happened. Strange things have happened since you came here. Since you, yeah. All right. So since leaving the Legion, you left the Legion. Since that moment, since leaving the Legion, practice करना अगर कर सकते हो. ख्वाहिश जागे तो, नहीं तो सुनने में तो मजा आता ही है, लेकिन वही है थोड़ा सा जाएगा दिमाग में सुनने से. प्रैक्टिस करने ज्यादा जाता है. Since leaving the Legion. You have never talked to me nicely since I came here. You haven't talked to me nicely since I came here. An action started in the past, has continued to the present. Since I came here, जब से मैं यहाँ आया हूँ, हिंदी में हूँ बोलते हैं, okay? Since I came here, you haven't talked to me nicely. ना उस समय तुमने अच्छे से बात की ना, बीच में ना आज. Since I came here, you haven't talked to me nicely. You understand this sentence? Okay. अरे जब से चिकनवा खाए ना पेटवा में गुड़गुड़ हो रहा है. All right. My stomach feels upset since I ate that chicken. I don't know what was wrong with it. Since I ate that, it wasn't chicken, it was crow.
Businessman, you've worked for some of the world's most successful companies.
You have worked for some of the world's most successful companies. You have worked for some of the world's most successful companies. You have worked for some of the world's most successful companies. दुनिया के कुछ बहुत जबरदस्त कंपनीज के लिए आपने काम किया. एक्सपीरियंस उसने कहा आप किए हैं, बस बात खत्म. You have worked for some of the world's most successful companies.
Such as Deutsche Bank in its
Asia
Pacific division. And now you are a director of Vodafone PLC.
Now you are a director of Vodafone PLC, private limited company, I don't know.
And you've walked to the South Pole.
And you have walked to the South Pole. She is counting the achievements. She is counting the experiences. And you have walked to the South Pole. आप ये भी कर चुके हैं.
These are extraordinary achievements.
These are extraordinary achievements. Extraordinary. हम लोग extraordinary अलग अलग करके बोलते हैं. उसने कैसे बोला? Extraordinary. Right? और हम लोग को ऐसे बोलने की आदत है. Extraordinary. Right? But वो कैसे बोली? Extraordinary. Extraordinary. अब यही है, कान अगर सही है तो नोटिस करोगे, ध्यान सही है तो भी, नहीं तो खुद में खुश रहने पर तो वो फिर सुनेंगे extraordinary, बोलेंगे extraordinary. Okay, so even these are some extraordinary achievements.
Are they extraordinary?
Are they extraordinary? Are they extraordinary? सही में extraordinary है ये सब. Really?
I think my life's been different, but not.
I think my life has been different. My life has been, is नहीं, has been. My life has been different, but not extraordinary.
Extraordinary. I don't think everybody does things my way, but I
don't think everybody does things my way. I don't think everybody does things my way. मुझे नहीं लगता हर कोई मेरे जैसा काम करता है, मेरे जैसा डिसीजन लेता है. I don't think everybody does things my way. I don't think everybody thinks my way.
I've enjoyed it. It's
But I've
been
enjoyed
very
it.
exciting.
It's been very exciting. Yeah, of course, sir. You dropped out of school and still achieved so many things in life. You made a blunder by dropping out of school. Nobody should do that. If you suffer a broken heart, do you think you will give advice to people to drop out of school? Never. He did that and still managed to get his life on track. Lucky him. A lot of people will make that decision and regret it all their lives. Dropping out of school is not a small thing. So this is 6 o'clock. The story is over. Homework. Finish the last page in the practice book, everyone. Last 2 pages. Last 2 pages. Finish them. Last 2 pages, everybody. 82 and 83. That's all. Like I said, most probably tomorrow will be our last day. And if it is not, then we might have another day after the wedding of Sana. Like the wedding is the day after tomorrow, right? And Sabaji, are you still planning to visit her on her wedding, for her wedding, or you won't?
No, sir, I am sick. I feel again very weakness, sir.
I can understand because dengue and typhoid together, they make your body very weak. It's such a bad timing, You are very excited about attending her wedding.
Yes, sir.
Okay, never mind. So I hope you, get better and maybe you can join, I hope, and attend the wedding. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.